This video is sponsored by LUBE SHUTTLE, the quality grease gun perfect for tractor owners. Get yours today using the link in the description.
Hi, Adam here from CountryCraziness.com. So I thought I'd kind of show you guys a little bit about doing the 50-hour service on our DK5310 SE Hydrostat. So this is the first time I've had to do it. I'm more experienced with automotive stuff. I've been working on cars, motorcycles, go-karts, anything with a motor, most of my life. Never had to do this before. It threw me for a loop a little bit for the amount of fluid that I was actually going to have come out. So I'll kind of show you a little bit about what was going on. So as you can see, this black filter right here, this is your transmission filter. From what it looks like to me, it looks like it's probably a quart and a half filter. I did have to buy a bigger wrench in order to be able to do this. My dad bought one wrench, which this worked out pretty handy for me getting it off. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it very snug with my hands. My back's kind of messed up right now. I'm kind of having some back issues, so I'm kind of trying to take it easy on myself. So I did end up buying a band wrench, which Napa actually had one specifically designed for tractors and larger commercial vehicles like semis. So I ended up buying this one. You can kind of see by the size of my hand, it's a pretty decent sized filter wrench. That fits on there perfect, and that did the job great. As for your HST or Hydrostat filter, it's a great deal smaller filter. If you're used to doing automotive, chances are you probably have a band wrench that'll fit that no problem. It's a little tight. I had to actually get up underneath it. I was kind of hoping that I could just do it from up top because, like I said, I'm having back problems. Really didn't want to be laying on my back unless I had to, but yeah, pretty easy to get off. Everything's very accessible. This filter had little to nothing coming out of it. That may be because I did the larger transmission filter first. The larger transmission filter, like I said, is probably a quart and a half filter, but I'll show you how much fluid I actually had come out. So here's a 5-gallon bucket. As you can see, I'm halfway full. Mind you, I still have a little bit left in just a small little 5-quart drain pan over there, but it's not very much. I ended up getting 2.5-gallon jugs instead of getting 5-gallon pails because I don't have any way of transferring from a 5-gallon pail other than to lift it. And that seemed like it was going to be pretty hard trying to do that and hold the funnel as well, because the hole for the funnel doesn't seem to really snug a funnel real well to where it's just going to stay put. So anyhow, it actually kind of worked out because as you can see, this is halfway full. That's a 2.5 gallon. So without second guessing, I could just fill that whole thing and then check and go from there. The one thing I would warn you is I'm trying to do this on a brand new pole barn floor. We do like our concrete a little bit, so I try and do the best not to make a mess. I did use a baking sheet underneath it. I will warn you, when you go to take this off, I couldn't get a 5-gallon bucket underneath here only because of the frame bracing. You can duck it under and you might be able to make it fit. If I have to do this again, I might actually take a 5-gallon bucket and trim the top off of it. But I got caught by surprise when I took that filter off, and luckily I brought an extra pan with me because I only had one out here. But I ended up topping off a pan, and mind you, I NASCAR'd this thing off. As fast as I could take it off and as fast as I could put it on, it filled the whole pail, filled my whole baking sheet all the way up to the edge, which was a nightmare to try and deal with. Luckily, nothing ended up on the floor, and I ended up having to use a whole nother pan. So that's a big warning up front. Make sure that you have plenty of drip pans or you have a means of accommodating around 2.5 gallons of fluid. So from there, I'm all snugged up. Normally, I would never suggest to tighten any form of filter, such as an oil filter or anything like that, a canister style filter with a wrench. Normally, you would just do it by hand. These are so big in circumference, and because the gasket wants to fight you so bad, I did use a band wrench to put them back on, and I just kind of gave them just a little bump of a snug, so I didn't over tighten them or anything. All right, so upon filling, this is I kind of threw a pan underneath here just in case I made a mess, but anyhow, this is the problem that you come into with filling. Okay, so this is where your fill stick is, or your fill spout is, and there ain't a whole lot of room in here. This little plug down here, this is your, here, let's see if I can get this to hold on for a second, and I'll see if I can pull that out to show you. Put this down here. That's your dipstick right there. Obviously, just that little hash is what tells you you're in the right. So Here, let's see if I can get a good image of that. So just between those two hash marks, that's kind of hard to see. You know, I'll put that back in. But I'm kind of thinking, now the filter that the funnel that I have, and I've tried multiple different funnels, and as you can see, I got another one down in the ground. I also have some smaller ones over here that I mostly use on small engines and motorcycles. Neither one of those will really work, they're too long. So I think what I'm gonna do is, order for me, this does fit in here, but it makes it kind of tight for how am I gonna pour oil in around that. So I think what I'm gonna do is, there's only 2 bolts that actually hold this pin receiver on. So I think I'm gonna take these 2 bolts off, take this, and just kind of throw it off to the side, and I should be able to fill it pretty well like that. So I'll do another video and let you know how it works out, but I think that's the game plan. All right, talk to you soon. Whew, man, it is hot. I got all the doors closed in here trying to hold in the cold air from last night, and I'm still rolling a sweat. So anyhow, to follow up on how I was talking about moving that pinned receptacle in order to get a funnel in there better. So this is the receptacle, which would normally be mounted like that. Just a couple bolts that hold them on. I think they're 12 millimeter. Yeah, 12s. And I just kind of threw it off to the side like that. And yes, absolutely, I will be doing that every single time I have to mess with putting a whole mess of fluid in here. If you maybe only had to top it off, you know, just to put a cord in or something, not a big deal. You could probably fight around it if you wanted to. But yeah, in order to put a decent amount in there, yeah, definitely worth it to take that off. So I thought I'd share that with you. I'll definitely be continuing to do this in the future. I may even consider, because it is kind of a pain to get, let's see if I can show you. This is where you have to try and stick your hand in to try and catch the nuts, which you don't want to obviously drop those, because who knows if you'll ever find them again. I may even make it to where I'll reverse them and actually have the threads coming out this way, and then actually have wing nuts on here, so I could literally just wing nut it off real quick, leave the bolts in there, and then just drop it off. Either that, or I may have enough slack, I might actually be able to move it. But, I mean, I suppose you could probably move it over here if you wanted to. But I think the wing nut idea is probably the best idea. I think I'll probably just do that in the future. But yeah, I thought I'd share that with you. Just a quick little hack to make your life easier. Okay, well, we're gonna get this thing running, and I think that's it for now. I'm just gonna go over all the grease joints real quick on the front end loader and hopefully try and get some work done. Okay, thank you, bye.